Speaking of those new store prototypes that were launched at the end of last year, can you just briefly describe them? I believe there are two new ones, and kind of what the customer response has been so far.
Yes, so we have two of them, and we've only, well, let me start with the 1,000 square foot prototype, and it's a two-sided drive-through. So on your traditional drive-through side is your 2-to-1 drive-through like you see in a lot of restaurants. And then on the passenger side pickup, it's dedicated for curbside, first-party and third-party pickup, and there's no dining room. So there's still a part where you can walk up and grab to go or talk to someone directly outside of your vehicle. But it's really just the meat and potatoes of the kitchen and the pickup. And so the consumer journey is really focused on speed and accuracy of getting people their favorite Schlotzsky's items and getting them out of there. Prior to COVID, I mean, we were only doing 30% of our business dine-in. And so there's been this trend that we've been looking at it of dining, getting smaller and smaller and seeing people use our other channels. And quite honestly, those channels are more profitable for our franchisees in our stores. As you can imagine. Yeah. And then the 1,800 actually does have 35 interior seats, and it has a traditional 2-to-1 drive-through on the outside as well. But it has those seats, and that's where you see that square footage. Now, we've only built 2 modified versions of that prototype today. J.J. Ramsey, our franchisee who's in Arkansas and Texas, he built one in Mountain Home, Arkansas, as well as in Derby, Kansas. So you mentioned Kansas, yeah. And they just opened. So far, it's been great. It's proven that we can do the volume through those smaller footprints. We've also been able to validate that we've been able to capture those efficiencies from the labor model, as well as some of the changes that we've made to the kitchen to be more efficient.
And will you be expanding these new store prototypes soon?
Yes, we actually have plans to build hopefully 2 more this year that are open this year, and they'll both be company locations in Oklahoma. And then we have several of our franchisees where they're under the way with their planning process right now. And it's a mix of both the 1,000 and the 1,800 square foot prototype.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned that when designing these new prototypes that you kind of consulted with your franchisees, what do you think are the important elements of store design to them?
Well, most importantly, it's cost. So, as you're looking at, to build these locations, what's your return on investment? And so by building a smaller footprint, we've engineered a lot of the cost out of that. And so I think that's one. And number 2 is labor. As everyone thinks about the headwinds that the industry's facing, even prior to COVID, I mean, labor has always been a challenge for restaurants. And so being able to do more with less. And so we've designed, as we've looked at the design of the restaurants, we've made sure people are staying in place and not having to walk from station to station. We've looked at how the food actually flows to the restaurant and where it lands. And obviously with the huge focus on getting the food through the drive-through window or through the first party, third party, that food's landing closer to those areas where the guest is going to be able to receive it.
Mm-hmm. Now, you touched a bit on your expansion goals and kind of entering new markets. What brand new markets would you guys like to penetrate that you hadn't been able to thus far?
Ohio's an exciting one for us. So we're actually going to open a store later this year in Ohio, and we have I think we only have one location in the whole state, and so we're really excited about that market because it looks and performs, we believe, similar to our other Midwest locations. There's still a lot of great real estate, and so we've got some great franchise partners who are really excited to grow in that market. And I also say the Carolinas, where we have locations in the Carolinas, but you would think that one of our top performing locations would be in Texas, and we have a lot of great locations that do well. But our location in Greenville, South Carolina, is one of our top performers, and it's far away from the roots of Austin, Texas. So that gets us really excited.
Mm-hmm. So how does technology play a role in those development plans?
Yeah, quite a bit. So we've last year we rolled out our new app, and there's even more advancements coming on that will help with the customer journey. But as we've designed these prototypes, and we've really worked hard with some of our partners with Delphi, Delphi timers, and as well as our point of sale systems to make sure that we're implementing KDS. So prior to these prototypes, we were still using kitchen tickets in the back from station to station, And then these new prototypes, they leverage kitchen display systems, so employees can bump items as they go, and we can track and monitor that. Another important piece is, obviously any drive-through business, speed and accuracy is going to be an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us. And part of our new rollouts, we've implemented, we're designing sticky printers for all the food. So every food every piece of a sandwich or pizza goes out will actually have an individual sticker on it, label in it, so the guests know exactly what it is.
Okay, great. And what are the challenges of kind of leaning more into drive-through, and like you said, speed and accuracy is so important for that?
Well, I think some of the challenges really would be as you go into design and making sure that you're designing the ingress and regress correctly. We try to have a 5 or 6 car stack from the menu board to the drive-through. And as you go into some of these locations, you have to get creative with how you land your building on that. So that's always a challenge. And fortunately, we have a great construction design team that helps our franchisees with that. But once it's there, it's there. And so it's very important that you get that right from the very beginning.
Mhm. And lastly, I guess I would ask, how do you think your store design will continue to change or evolve in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we're it's funny to think about it because we're so excited about this version of it coming out right now. But I think technology is going to continue to play a big role in that, in the sense that how we can connect directly with the consumer and be able to get them in and out even faster. And so that's why we're really excited about this curbside pickup lane, where consumers and guests don't even have to get in the drive-through or get out of the car. Hopefully, we can get really fast at that, and so you can just zoom in and zoom out and get your favorite Schlotzsky's sandwich or pizza.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that the entire industry is kind of undergoing a bit of a labor crunch. So how does the drive-through development, how is it affected by those labor challenges?
It actually helps because, believe it or not, it's easier for us to do business out of the drive-through than it is face-to-face. And because you have to have someone at the cashier, you can have someone bring the food out. We check on them, we clean up after them, we heat and we air condition that space. So, in a drive-through and first-party, third-party model, it takes less people to do it, and it's faster. We're more efficient at it. So, there's a lot of advantages to it.